Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists. We humbly ask that you please consider giving us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on. And please let us know in the comments where you're watching from and if you have any questions for the carvers. My name is Michael Mondragon, and I'll be running the show, moderating comments, chiming in from time to time, and carving tonight. I can't wait.
Nice.
All right. So let's meet the carvers. First, he is a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on the Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network. Matt Harper, welcome.
Thank you, guys. Hey, Paul.
Hey, buddy.
Up next, he is an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts, and he is a 2019 champion of Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkins. Paul Dever, welcome.
Hi, guys.
And our guest carver tonight is a wood, ice, and pumpkin carver, and was most recently a contestant on Outrageous Pumpkins on the Food Network. From Austin, Texas, please welcome Griffon Ramsey. Welcome.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so Griffon has agreed to take on the wheel. So what will the Hello Wheel have us carve this week? Paul, can you give us some details on what the center spinner is all about?
Okay, to recap. The center spinner, I'll say. So each individual section is going to have an emotion on it. And that'll be the second spin. And the first spin is going to be who we're carving. So basically who we're carving and what kind of mood they're in this evening. So
show us the wheel.
No.
Yes.
Come on, that would ruin it.
Yes.
Would ruin it.
Do you have any examples?
How's that? Is that better?
That's a little better.
That's professional. Okay.
Okay.
You got to stare at the side of my head. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so the inner wheel has all of our characters to choose from. The outer wheel is the expression that we're going to try and carve into our fruit or gourd of choice. So,
yeah. And Paul, we've done an alien, we've done a Frankenstein and an augury. So
I know augury.
Yeah. So if we hit one of those, should we just make a quick game time decision? We respin it. What do you guys think? What do you think, Griffon? If we already hit one and did before, or are you just a game for anything?
Well, I have ones that I would prefer to get. Alien or wit. Those are what I'm hoping for.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I allowed to say that? What I hope for?
Well, no, the wheel kind of knows what's going on in your brain, so it'll help.
It's really who has the most will in the situation. All right.
Yeah, you have to will the wheel, as they say.
Will the wheel. Yeah. Okay, right. So we got oh, look at that. Is that bad? I'm just trying to read comments. This is already happening.
Mr. John Davis, talking about the wheel coming to Chicago. Is that how you want to carve pumpkins this year, John? We can make that happen because I will be doing a live broadcast from Chicago.
So we give everybody, Griffon, about 5 minutes to go get their gourds and tools, especially folks who are just seeing it for the first time, because if they don't have a pumpkin, they're going to their the produce drawer and pulling out a potato or something. But we're going to give everybody a shot to do this. So meanwhile, we can kind of, I guess, pontificate upon the ones we don't want, which are, in my opinion,
Matt, we can't jump ahead. We have to start with our tradition.
Oh, my bad.
I'm game for anything because this is my first time on the show and everything. I'm just saying, alien.
If you were to get, listen, I can be bribed. I have Venmo, so if you want to take care of that right now,
I'm sorry. This is where we're plunged right now in a deep pandemic / recession.
Oh, good point.
So no, let's not carve anything.
So yeah. Paul brought up a very good point, and Mickey being our king moderator here for this wonderful tradition. It's all about the beer, right? So we're here to have a fun talk and carve together as a bunch of goofy artists, but it always helps to lubricate the gears, right? So
it's the carving oil.
The carving oil. Well, yeah, exactly. So maybe let's start with you, Paul. You seem to have something in your hand there.
Okay, so just to get something straight, you always start with me. Every single week it starts with me.
You're a pro drinker. What do you want?
Leadership role?
I know. I believe it's a problem. So this is Trillium Brewery out of Boston, Massachusetts, which is really good. And I think it's just called 7.8. It's literally a can that says 7.8.
Yeah, right.
And
There's your
believe it
ABV
or
right
not,
there.
It's 7.8%. What do
Shocking.
they got? And it's 58,000 IBUs.
Nice.
Very hoppy. And I really like it. So,
Okay.
and it's
Nice.
very cloudy.
Pretty direct marketing. However they brainstorm.
Yeah, and it's even got a pretty orange color. Nice.
Yeah, it looks like a hard cider is what it looks like. It's,
Yeah, that would be the gravity, by the way, what the color is. So, but let's go to Griffon. Let's not get too nerdy on.
Beer nerd.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
I picked up some Voodoo Ranger Atomic Pumpkin, and it's spicy. It's like brewed with chilies and cinnamon, pumpkin, cinnamon, and chilies.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Holy
Amazing.
moly.
A little stingy, like a stingy aftertaste.
It's like you have to wash it. You have to get the flavor out of your mouth to wash it down with more. It's like addictive.
Yeah, salsa, stop, it hurts. But if you keep eating salsa, you're okay.
Yeah, exactly. The minute you stop, you're over. You're done.
Genius.
So I'm sticking with Griffin's theme. I went with a Voodoo Ranger, a New Belgium Voodoo Ranger. And if you can see, it's got a skull on it for no other reason. Skulls are cool. And it's an IPA, and this one's 12 FLOZ, like the other ones I drink.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's fancy.
that's right in your wheelhouse.
Always. Oh, it's a real super IPA. My God.
Yeah.
It's got 10,000 hops in it or something. IBUs.
Matt, if I could have
me.
paused that, I would have carved that face.
Yeah.
It was a great first step.
So I have a City Roots. This is a pumpkin cider. It's actually from
Harpoon.
Mass Bay Cider Company. So there you go. So Boston, Massachusetts, representing Paul
In the house.
out here in West Coast.
There's alcohol in that, Mickey.
That's a good question. I think a lot. Yeah. It's probably like 5%.
You can just pour some vodka in the top if it's not enough.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, cheers to everyone. Happy
Cheers,
carving.
everybody.
Cheers.
Happy Thursday.
All right. So we're going to give people about 5 minutes. Let me change my camera here and actually have a timer so we can get that going as well.
I think we got to blow past 5 minutes. Let's give them like 2. At this point.
We did a 3 minute round.
Okay. So 2 minutes. You got it.
Do you think that could we spin now though, just so we can kind of because I have a couple of pumpkin of choices, and this is what I think.
Yeah. It's a great idea. Paul, let's go ahead.
Griffin Nancy, I love it. She wants to get rolling.
Enough talk already. Come on.
And those at home, if they want to choose between potato and squash, will know which direction to go in.
Good point. All right, she's on top of it.
Talking more spinny. I'm picking up what you're throwing down. Ready?
Yeah.
Alien.
Vampire.
All right, that works.
Did we get vampire before? I don't know.
No, that's a first.
Okay. And our vampire is going to be
Please be sad.
scared vampire. Landed on the same one.
Wow.
That's an easy one.
Scared vampire. All right. Anything coming in mind?
Which is probably the kiss of death by calling it easy, I guess, right? None of them are easy. All right.
Oh, okay. I got to get my trusty mirror and start making scared faces in it.
Yeah.
My God.
I lost my squash. All right.
So wait, what are you carving there? It looks like, oh, wow. Nice big, it looks like you're carving a tangelo.
I don't know what it is. I think are we talking to Griffin or are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you. It looks like a giant orange with a little top on it or something.
It's a red Hubbard. Or a curry squash, as the laymen call it. But I could be wrong on both fronts, but I'm pretty sure it's a red Hubbard. Soon to be a very scared vampire.
Yes. It doesn't matter what it is, it's what it's going to be, right?
Exactly.
Oh, she's
making game time decisions here.
This is why we have to spin. Some thought. I have just too many options here.
All right, let's see. I got a big old Hubbard. Butternut too. Does this guy look like a scared vampire? Does he look like? Or is this?
No, it's one of those ones you actually have to.
I know, because I'm picturing the face.
Are you doing it? Yeah, I was just about to do the same thing. Make a face.
I'm going like I'm looking at I have a mirror, so I'm sitting here going. But it'd be for a vampire, you just got to have teeth, so you got to have like some,
You got it, yeah. Some kind of picture has to be. I have to use some kind of reference anyway. So.
All right.
You know what? I'm going no reference. I can do this. Let's get.
You gonna go? Okay.
I don't need reference.
You're gonna start peeling, from what I'm hearing, huh?
Yes.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Me too.
Or even peel.
I guess it's that time, right? Let's get it going. Let's get it going.
Why, Mickey? Did we jump the timer at all? Mickey's already working on like.
Yeah, the timer's thrown out. Yeah, just get the carving.
Get going. Get busy living or get busy carving or something like that.
Can we live and carve too at the same
Okay.
time?
Yeah, I guess so. Either way.
Ooh, this is super slimy.
Is it? It's like some of those off kind of weirder ones like that can be super wet on the inside.
Yeah, it's where I guess slimy was not the right word. It's mostly just grippy.
Moist. It's moist.
It's a moist.
Oh no, that's the worst word in the world, right? Or people hate that word, or
I don't hate that word.
It definitely makes you feel uncomfortable with strangers.
like, yeah. I guess it depends on who you're talking to, and in context, maybe.
I'm going mini tonight.
I'm not sure I'm ready to say moist around you guys.
Oh boy, Mickey, this could be.
You.
This might be a mistake, Mickey. Is that a sugar pumpkin?
Don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, that's
like an orange.
That's a sugar pumpkin.
Yeah, it's an orange.
Mickey's carving an orange, everybody.
See, this is the fun part of it because I get to find out all the stuff that you guys already know. Oh, yeah, you don't use that one. So I get to find out the hard way.
On the show, we had one of the surprises was sugar pumpkins had to be used in our display. And all of them, they had all calcified. So none of us could get through the skin.
Oh, wow.
So I think I worked on it for almost 40 minutes to get through the skin. I broke my other loop just really laying into it to get through it.
Now, you guys, Griffon, on the show you were just on, you had some pretty big curveballs thrown at you. Were any of them welcomed? I mean, like I know you excel at like kind of using the power tools and stuff like that, and you did crazy good on a bunch of the challenges. Did any of them were like, oh my God, this curveball is exactly what I wanted?
Did I want a curveball? Is that what you're asking me?
No, but are any of the ones that gave you
Okay.
advantageous for you?
Yes, I will say I was happily surprised by how much I enjoyed the jack-o'-lantern stuff, because I was really not because I mostly do 3D sculpting for all the stuff that I do, so that was where I was feeling actually more nervous, but it ended up being like the most fun and challenging. I thought, well, maybe not the most challenging, but like interesting and different, and like thinking about the pumpkin differently than I had kind of been used to thinking about it, So that was positive. And I want to learn more about jack-o'-lanterns to practice more with that. So I guess I will say that was a cool discovery.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, the one that Mickey's showing right now, I gotta say, was just one of my favorites of the whole season. You killed that one. I mean, the theme, the depth at which you have the houses in the background and the streets and the street lights and stuff was just epic. I thought that was tremendous. So
thanks. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
My favorite part of this actually was doing the right around the street lamp. I had like a gouge, and I was just sort of, did I have the gouge or was it the power tool? It might have been the die grinder. Just like kind of slowly pushing it closer and closer to the lamp, and just to see that when it was actually lit up. When you picture in your head how it's going to look, and then when it actually works out, it's exciting.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, that's what I wanted it to do.
Yeah, amazing. It actually did what I was imagining.
Even the gradient on the cobblestones is like really well done.
Thanks.
Oh, that's great.
The thing I found really hard was to try to figure out how to make the scene feel like the end of a building. And so the picture on the right is the one that I took myself based on how I wanted it to be seen. And then, of course, the one on the left was just one that they took with me next to it. So you see there's a big gap there. But it's supposed to be kind of overlap like that, so it feels like there's an alleyway. And in person, it was a little bit easier to see like this impression of like a street going around the corner between the two pumpkins.
Yeah, no, you could see it. I mean, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm jealous. I can't do it.
Really, I mean, I guess you can preserve them. I don't know if you can. I guess if you can preserve jack-o'-lanterns by using those like foam pumpkins. Have you guys used the foam pumpkins at all?
No, I know a bunch of people that do use them, and I mean, you actually work with a lot of stuff where you need a respirator and stuff too. So that's the big thing about it is you got to constantly wear the respirator because it's foam, right? So
yeah,
but something like that would probably just be perfect for you because you're already used to that kind of environment with this stuff just flying at you.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you actually. One thing I have liked about doing pumpkins lately is that I don't have to wear all the stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
I watch TV.
Still make a nice big mess. Just don't have to breathe it in. That's nice.
right. I pick it out of your eyelashes.
Well, I mean, with the downside of using the power tools on the show, I brought them because that's the only tools I had really. And then at some point, Ray gave me the advice, you should probably work with hand tools. And then I was like, I'm like, I don't know how to use these things. Like there was no, the downside was that I made this like puree under my feet that I kept slipping on. And then I was totally soaked just with like pumpkin guts everywhere. But the upside is that it definitely moves super fast, especially when it comes to getting the rind off.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, did you spray anybody on the show with the power tools? I assume that happened, right?
Part of the strategy.
Nice, good move.
Wait. This is the dumbest question in the world. What are we carving again?
Vampire, a scared vampire, right?
Scared vampire. Okay.
Yes, scared vampire.
Okay, I just forgot. I was thinking sad or surprised, but it's scared. Okay. Like I am.
So now
Paul,
what? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mickey.
you are 100% correct. This thing is a rock.
Yes, it's like carving a concrete circle.
Uncarvable. So just so you know.
Well, actually, let's never say that again. Nothing is uncarvable.
Yeah, look
Uncarvable
at
for
my
right now. For right now.
You need a really sharp tool to dig into that surface.
That's true. That's true.
So just kiss that tool goodbye, and you'll be fine.
Yep.
Yeah, and just throw your orange.
Go get you'd be better off carving a real orange. You could get through the skin. So what's more intimidating, the envy scene or this scared vampire? I gotta know.
Yeah, we gotta know.
Well, okay, so the NB scene was a lot going on, but I think that I'm trying to remember how many hours that they gave us. It was certainly more than an hour and a half. So I think speed challenges kind of freaked me out for sure.
Well, the nice part about this hour and a half is, first of all, no judging. We love you anyway. And the second part is, even if the magic of you finishing it later is still in effect. So we'll just see how far we get in an hour and a half. How's that? We'll just we want you to have fun so you come back and hang out with us again. That's all.
Okay.
Right. But there is a prize at the end for the first person that finishes. Just
Paul.
No pressure at all. This one's turning out to be a little drier than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a little moist. It's all right.
Griffon, are you able to get good pumpkins around you? You're in Austin. Are you able to, like, farms and stuff like that nearby?
So I found there's a farm I'm going to be doing some work with, and they've been getting all of the pumpkins most of the pumpkins I'll be using this season.
Okay.
The events they're having. And so I haven't had to worry about it, but she says she has a pumpkin broker. She's
Nice.
jumped in the world of it. She's like, apparently you can't just like get a pumpkin. Like if you're going to do a big event, you have to get yourself like a broker. And she's like, well, cost? Like, we'll tell you when they get here. Like she's feeling like she's like buying drugs or something. Like really. It's pretty funny to hear about. So I've just been going to my grocery store and I've been getting what I need there. But I'd like to get sometime before the 30th. And I think the farm is sourcing it, but if not, I need to find one of those like Big Mac style pumpkins. Last year, are like local HEB, but I do hear they have some at Whole Foods.
Okay.
Whole Foods has giant pumpkins.
Flagship store in Austin at Whole Foods, so I'm sure they have something.
Yeah. Amazon's got pumpkins.
Amazon? Oh, right, Amazon.
We keep talking about it. They will.
Yeah.
They'll have everything.
As far as like carving with like tools and doing more like classes and stuff like that, Griffon, are you starting to kind of come around to the hand tools a little bit more now that it's pumpkin season? Or are you still kind of?
No, I'm really digging it. Like, so the show, I felt like, and I said it once in some interview around here, about how I felt like I was thrown into the deep end of pumpkin carving. Because most of my experience, I've carved pumpkins for years growing up just for fun. Like, I'll do maybe one a year for myself.
Sure.
And then I started doing them for YouTube because I have a YouTube channel. So I just like, in addition to the wood carving videos, like maybe one a year do like a pumpkin. And then last year I got hired for my first one. And then after that, since then, I mean, other than it being seasonal, since then it's been kind of like picking up really quickly. So right now I'm trying to really learn as much as I can. And buying tools. I'm talking to the pumpkin carvers that I met on the show or whoever I meet, you know, through Instagram, just to try to accelerate my like learning.
That's the way to do it.
If there ever was a wealth of knowledge wrapped around the tool world, there's Lenny Calvin.
Lenny,
that's one guy who knows his tools. And I know you know Danny Kissel. He's the tool master, and Dean's a tool master. But as far as a tool hoarder, he's on the show with me, and he's not Mickey.
A tool hoarder?
Yeah, he's the tool hoarder, and it's not. Well, I guess it's me too. I don't know, but you're holding that in a very threatening way right now.
I just can't believe that somehow you're referring to me.
Somehow.
I have like 3 tools.
No, but the one thing I got to say is just about every show, and I bet this will be no different. We find out about a new tool. Like Griffin, when we were talking yesterday, we found out about the carving bar on a chainsaw, and now I got to get a chainsaw. I got to get a steel chainsaw because that's the best one, you know. And I got to get a carving bar. I'm like, you know, I'm a glutton for it. I gotta have best tools and as many of it as I can.
Matt, if only we knew somebody that might be able to get us a discount on a really good chainsaw.
Yeah,
might know somebody.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I can probably figure that out.
You might know somebody.
Yeah, I know.
I know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy.
I will say that I use the battery saw at the show just to like make some of the bigger cuts. And if you're cutting like yesterday, I couldn't get my saw working because I let it roll out of my van and I think I smashed it. But it's great for making like a really long, perfect straight cut if you want to cut like directly across the pumpkin. For like making either a really like level bottom or yesterday I was doing the brim of a hat, and so like to get that perfect slice, the chainsaw is actually pretty good, even though it does throw bats everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Better to use it outdoors.
Really? You make a large level cut, right? So.
Yeah, for sure. And some like it's kind of funny, but you know, like the intimidation around using bigger tools, like but at the same time, sometimes like they do give you more like precision when it comes to like a big area.
Well, you're quite used to doing it. I mean, how long have you been doing chainsaw? Because I know I've seen some of your work, and Mickey will certainly talk and show us some of it. But you clearly are gifted when it comes to chainsaw stuff. When did you like pick it up and start for the first time?
So I started. It'll be actually this month is my anniversary for chainsaw carving. In October of 2011, I started with chainsaw carving.
Happy anniversary.
Thanks. I think it was supposed to be the 11th, so like maybe in a couple of days it would be like 9 years.
Wow.
And so it was sort of it was going to be just a one-off thing. My background's theater and film and online content, doing props and sets and costumes and things like that. Like technical theater is what my degree is in. And
Okay.
so I have been working, doing a lot of online content. And then when I left the company I was working for, I wanted to start my own YouTube channel to kind of continue doing what I had been doing, which was making like pop culture props and stuff, like with different materials and like a different story for everything I was making. But then, but I wanted to do something really impactful for the first video. So I decided to try chainsaw carving, which is something I've been intrigued by since I was a kid in Oregon, growing up near the Oregon coast. That's like a big tourist thing there. And so I picked it up just for one video to do this badass, I'm on my own, here's my channel.
Look at that.
And I was scared of it, but I also thought it would look really tough, you know, so I wanted to try it. And then I got like addicted to it because it's real addictive.
Okay, I got a question about this one because this is absolutely stunning. So do you when you do a totem like this, or you're doing like a commission that does something where they're asking for specific animals, are you spending a lot of time drawing it all up in 3D, looking at it and doing a whole lot of modeling and stuff, or are you just going at it?
All right, so this one I did do a sketch, actually. This is a Texas wildlife totem, and it was originally going to be for this place called Ranch at Cameron Park in Waco, Texas, but then there were some ownership changes that happened while I was making it, so it ended up, at the moment, it's being stored for the next probably couple of years at the Stuart Kelly. He's this real estate guy in Waco. He's the one who commissioned it. He has it at his wife's like horse veterinarian place. It's really pretty property, like horse property. So it's
Waco?
but it may end up moving to someplace more public later.
Cool.
But that one I did a sketch, and I do them, but I charge for sketching because sketching can really be a little.
That takes time.
That's the blueprints, though. That's
It does.
the architect piece.
It's more complex. Definitely makes it easier. But then I also, a lot of times for like if I'm doing it with a live show and it's only going to be like a 5-hour show or something, I won't sketch, but I know what they generally want, and so I'll take like different pictures from Pinterest or wherever I find them on the internet, and I sort of like put them together as a collage, like next to each other, and then I'll just print that out. And so I'll be looking up something that's still kind of freehanded, you know?
Yeah.
That's usually what I do for the quicker shows.
Okay.
And then the bigger competitions or like the bigger commissions, I'll do like a sketch.
So how long does it take you to do, not something like that, obviously, but say something like your troll? I see you do the troll, like the mermaid would probably be way longer than the troll, but.
Yeah, so that was a competition that I did in Montana. And so they had quick carve challenges. So a lot of these chainsaw carving competitions, they'll bring you in and they'll give you like a travel stipend, especially if you're international. And then you'll have opportunity to win like thousands of dollars if you place first, second, or third. But if you don't, then there's still ways to make money to make it worth you coming there. And those are usually quick carves. So they'll stop you like every day, like the one in Montana, every single day we took a break to do a quick carve, which was an hour and a half. A lot of times they're like an hour.
Wow.
But that one in Montana was an hour and a half for that troll doll. And I had tried it in Germany and I only had 45 minutes because the Germans are crazy. And it's always like half hour and 45-minute quick carves there. And so I finished the one in Germany. Yeah, I had a lot of issues in Germany. I tried to do the same design. It did not work out nearly as well because I was had some saw problems. And then I hit 2 nails, like one on each side. And I was just like,
oh
God. In this, because I was from Texas and they were like excited about the travel thing. They like put me right in the middle of the crowd, like in front of everyone. It was pretty embarrassing.
That one's pretty crazy right there.
That is great.
Oh yeah, that was so the guy who owns Titmouse Animation Studios. He and his wife have some property where it ends like a big chunk of land that's really cool. They call it Bugbear Canyon, and so they're really into Dungeons and Dragons. So he hired me to do like a bugbear from D&D to put it at the front of the property.
Cool.
So do you? I see you paint them or stain them. Is that pretty common for? I mean, some of them I've seen before that aren't painted at all, but it looks like it really brings out all the deeper cuts and the textures and stuff when you paint it. Is that?
Yeah, it depends on what it is and how much time I have. Because sometimes painting can be as much time as it takes to curve.
Yeah, I imagine.
And I like having color, but I will say that people tend, if they want a wood carving, they tend to want some wood showing, I think. And a lot of guys won't do any paint, or if they do, they still make it brown to make it look like wood. And some of the women carvers have like Angie. There's this woman, Angie Foglace, who's in Australia, and she does like bright colors, and I think that's really awesome. But I kind of like having a mix. I want to always show a little bit of wood grain if I can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I do like having pops of color because otherwise it's just like brown all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess if you do too much color, then like, is that wood or is it epoxy or what's that made out? Yeah.
You know, if you paint it fully, it's might as well be made out of plastic or like.
Yeah, might as well be. Yeah.
Like a cast of the original, right?
You paint your pumpkins because I see sometimes pumpkin carvers paint their pumpkins.
We don't.
Sometimes, I mean, when I was on Halloween Wars, there was a kind of a prerequisite you got to paint them. But when it comes to like what I normally do, I never do. And then just actually the last couple of days, I gave one to a good friend of mine who's a crazy good painter, a guy named Donovan, who's here in Tucson. He's kind of got art everywhere in town, and he had this idea of, hey, can you do can I paint some of those, because his mind, just he saw what I had made and wanted to do that. So yeah, so other than having other people do it or having to do it for a show, I never paint them typically.
Well, yeah, because I think that the kind of the beauty of pumpkin is that it's a pumpkin. So if you hide the pumpkinness, I think it would be kind of like,
Yeah.
what's the point? But I guess
Paul and I are more purists, I guess, that way, right, Paulie?
Yeah, and I suck at painting.
That helps.
No,
too.
you know what it is? We spend so much time cutting in shadow and depth and changing the form to create it. You could just do a 15-minute carve and do a badass paint job, and it would kind of look similar to your finished product if you just take the time and shadow it. Not just to be on the record, I'm not against pumpkin painting. I don't.
Well, but you also just said it too, you took all the time to paint, but paint can honestly sometimes carving details can be faster, I think, than painting them because of like drying times and just the issues around paint. And I imagine it's hard to paint a pumpkin because it's wet.
Yeah, right. You know what, too? I get lost in the process. Like, it's kind of therapeutic for me to get in there and do the wrinkles and cut behind teeth. And I don't know. I feel like I'd be robbing myself.
Yeah. Like
That's just
your OCD.
Yes. Or more like ADD. I'm like, what the hell am I doing right now? I broke a tool.
Okay, now hang on, Griffin. This is one of my absolute favorites.
That one's nuts.
This is insane. So how many? I guess was it a bunch of several logs or just branches, or how did you get this kind of form out of that? I mean, such a fluid-looking octopus out of such a rigid surface.
Okay, so that actually is two different kinds of wood. But the two branches coming from the ground, that is the original Monterey pine, and it died from a beetle infestation. This is in Pacific Grove, California. It's like 2 miles from Cannery Row. It's like a really fun area. Actually, it was great hanging out there because I love the family who commissioned it, the Denicourts. And then I got to hang out like in Cannery Row for a couple of weeks.
That's nice.
Those two pieces coming up, the main body of the octopus and then the other arm that reaches back, that not where it reaches back, but where they split off, that's the original, like the white tip of the tree. And then I had driven down from Oregon, and when I was in Oregon, I found on Craigslist this big western red cedar that was like really healthy that had just come down during a storm, and this guy like fished it out of a river, and he like sold me this 40-foot western red cedar log. And so all the pieces in between, like the tentacles that come up through the middle and then up in the ship in between, and then the tentacles that reach to the ship, that's all western red cedar from Oregon.
And it was it just driftwood or just found, or where?
No, this is like a tree in front of a house near a golf course in Pacific.
I mean, the pieces, the redwood, were they just like
Not
just?
It was like a tree in a forest.
I got you. Okay.
Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
And I drove out to like the middle of nowhere in the country and like went to this guy's property. You know, in the typical Craigslist, like, this is real or I'm gonna get murdered. Like,
I was just gonna say, are there a lot of redwood postings in Oregon? Oregon, however you say.
it was
Get tree. Yeah.
I know if I went on Craigslist around here, tree would not be one of the things that would come up. I'm very jealous. And how does one move? How does one move a 40-foot downed piece of redwood?
Well, I had to cut it into segments to fit it onto my trailer. I had this 14-foot trailer with a gypsy wagon on the back that I was like sitting in at the time. And so I put it into sections. And so I think that I kept the longest I could keep on the back of that trailer was 6 feet, I think. So I cut it into 6 foot lengths.
Oh, very close. That maybe too, though.
It was enough to reach across the gap in the top of the tree, because that tree I think is about 12 feet tall at the tallest point.
Wow, it's awesome. It's gorgeous. It's probably I think it might be my favorite.
It's amazing. How long did that take you all together, Griffin?
Well, so I had to go back to Austin for 2 different things I was filming. Like I had some other jobs, so I had to leave partway through, and then I had to fly back to California. So if I had been uninterrupted, it would have been 2 weeks, but it was over the course of 3 weeks.
Wow. Came out awesome.
Thanks. Actually, I'm about to do that's the only stump job I've really done, like actually connected to the ground stump. I'm about to do my second one about an hour outside of Austin in this place called Page, Texas. It's going to be a Viking.
Nice.
So I've been listening to this book, Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, to get inspired by what figures to put on the tree. I'll have to touch back with y'all later when that gets going. It'll probably be like between now and Christmas.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah, if you already have all the subtractive carving skills, you should really try chainsaw carving. It's fun.
I think think we touched on it a little bit yesterday, but for whatever reason, I have this irrational fear of chainsaws.
It's not
So
irrational. That's not irrational.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because everybody around here is like, don't be a wimp. Just grab the chainsaw and go.
No, here's what
I'm
you
gonna lose a leg.
don't Google a chainsaw accident. Or next time your friends make fun of you, send them a link to Google image search chainsaw accident. There's definitely a
No,
reason to be afraid of them.
that's what happened. I Googled chainsaw accidents and was like, no, pumpkins are a really much better option for me.
I cut myself way more when I'm pumpkin. Like so many things close to the fingers and it's all slippery and wet. Peelers are the most dangerous things we work with.
Slipping around.
I started one, not chainsaw, but I started my first wood carving this summer, but I started it with chisels, and that takes quite a long time. So I basically abandoned it halfway through until I
like not practical.
yeah, and it was like June, so it was kind of warm out, just sitting there chopping away at wood. But I'm gonna get a chainsaw this year, I think. You've inspired me.
Okay.
So next time we see each other, I might have you carve me a peg leg if I have a chainsaw accident with Pirate Paul.
That's right. Or maybe some wooden teeth. You know,
Right, or a wooden eye, depending on where.
Something.
So I started carving the side of the face, and it's like so shallow. I've already punched through accidentally a couple of times.
That's the beauty of pumpkins. It's like, hey, you got a whole other side. You get,
So frustrating.
I know, and it is super frustrating.
That's one thing you'll like about wood. It's usually solid through the center.
Yeah. You never have that problem. Like a butternut, right? I mean,
What about the cracks? Because I noticed there's like splits inside the wood. Do you just fill them in after?
Well, if they're problematic to the structure, yes, you need to deal with them. Or if you have a client who's really picky about them. But the way I like to describe them is, that's the charm of wood.
Yeah.
Yes, it's his personality.
And that's a lot of my carver friends have like little guarantees. Like there's one, I think it's Jeff Sandusky, he's in Washington. I think he's got this like, the thing you give your client after they pay for the thing or whatever, receipt, care for your carving. And his says, guaranteed to crack. Like, promise it, and then, they know.
Well, they shrink up, right? I'm sure they must shrink up a bit.
Water evaporates.
Austin's more humid, right? I guess if you go to a really arid place, it'll probably crack more or something, right? I imagine.
Well, it gets really hot here, and things do crack and dry really quickly, and they rot too from the humidity. But I will say that certain kinds of wood, like the wood we use here for the most part for carving, is Eastern red cedar, and it stays pretty stable, and it only gets little tiny cracks around the whole part, sort of equally, like little radial cracks. But if you use like a pine, which they tend to use like on the East Coast or like up north in Montana, pine or like a Western red cedar, that'll get like a big split in it when it dries. And so if you work with one of those woods, a lot of times if you do a really big sculpture, you'll do like a stress relief cut on the back where you're not going to see the design, in that like a big bear. So you do like a big cut, like pretty deep into the whole thing. So then when it does start to dry out, it already knows which direction to go. Instead of like cracking your face. So there's like tricks that you learn how to do. Just like, you learn the tricks of the material.
That's probably why I was asking about the cracks, because obviously what I was carving is pine. So
yeah, pine definitely. And it gets fuzzy. It's kind of hard when you're like in a hurry, like in Montana, it's what we're using. And it's like wet and gummy and all your sand
pitch. That's what they warned me against it. A tree guy from around here that does some carving. He's like, you don't want to carve pine. He's like, because you're going to get sticky from all the pitch inside, and it's not the best. And I'm like, just give me it. I can make it work.
Yeah.
Well, sitting in my.
Because depending on the kind that, you might want to use pine. You just have to deal with the problems of pine.
Right. I know, I got being here in New England, I think that's primarily what a lot of guys use. I mean, some of the guys up in Maine, I think, use oak, but that's a real hard wood to carve, isn't it?
Yeah, hard and heavy. But I think it looks really nice. But I mean, I think depending on what you're doing, pine is probably fine. It just doesn't hold up outside as long.
Oh, yeah.
And at least, but sometimes, I don't know, I think that if it's affordable, that's not always the worst thing. And pine is pretty affordable.
Now this is on the screen, Griffin. This is the mermaid you just did, right, in Montana.
Yeah.
And that's what a 3-day carve altogether. including the painting and everything else?
Yeah, it was like 3.5 days. Plus we had quick arts every day that would took us off for like an hour and a half.
Okay.
And then lunch. So they're kind of timed and they don't let you work on everyone. Like you have to work at the same time to keep it fair.
One of the things that Paul and I and Mickey do, we kind of look for the pumpkin shape to help dictate, what we want to do. Do you do the same thing with like I imagine like you want to do it the mermaid, you want to have a specific tail shape and the body shape. Do you find the right log? Do you kind of among 50 logs kind of thing?
Well, it depends. That was a competition, and usually they have like a log draw, and because no log is exactly the same. And this event, especially, they had some miscommunication with wherever they got the logs, and they kind of sent the wrong ones. So this was a lot smaller than what I was hoping to use, and then we had, which meant a lot of composite, like laminating it.
Okay.
It's sort of like a common problem for most of us. So a few of us got bigger logs, and I was kind of surprised they didn't do a log draw, considering they didn't have consistent logs. But a lot of times for the carving competitions, you just draw numbers, and that you don't really like. You can't say, "Oh, well, it's not fair" or whatever. You just have to deal with what you have. And sometimes, like, there's this like saying that a couple of carvers have told me before, that the biggest log that doesn't tend to win, because sometimes, as much as you think you might want the biggest log with all the material options, you get judged sometimes on like what you do with the material that you're given. And if you have more wood to carve, that means you have to have all of that wood, like looking good at the end of it. And so sometimes, a little limitation is a good thing.
Right. They're expecting too much when you go for the biggest piece.
Yeah.
Or you just need to actually have it all carved, and that's like, more work to do.
Laurette had a question about it's a scared vampire. That is the subject we are carving tonight. Scared vampire.
What about a lusty?
Thank you to Mrs. Deaver.
It's Dever, and I know you know that.
I said it on purpose, Paul.
You son of a... Griffin, if there's one thing you'll learn about me, for whatever reason, I'm very sensitive when someone mispronounces my last name. As simple as it is, ever since I was about 6 years old. I don't get it.
I apologize. Mrs. Dever. And
you ever apologize to me for busting my chops, pal? I love you for it. Harper.
It's Harper, all right?
It's Harper. It's Mad Harper. From Worcester. So, Mickey, have you gotten the skin off of that sugar pumpkin yet?
Oh no, I switched. I switched
you
to
did?
another. Yeah, I did. There's no way I'm even gonna attempt that. That's why I say it was uncarvable for me.
A lot of game time changes going on tonight. I love it.
Yeah.
And Griffin, the fun about the doing the Hella wheel, the spinner, right? I saw our buddy McFrazzle Stash mention in a comment that it kind of takes you out of your comfort zone, and it makes you it forces you to do a little bit more. There he goes, the randomness of the spinner, right? But I want to get your opinion on it. I mean, this is kind of like, it's competition-esque, right? We're getting thrown something that you weren't really prepared for or ready for. What's your because I know typically when we carve pumpkins, or you do wood or arrow pumpkins or anything, we have kind of design all the time in the world. What's your take on kind of a deadline like that?
Well, I've recently decided that I prefer doing events to doing like any kind of commission, because I do, as much as I hate having time challenges and I hate having to walk away from things, I also love that I'm forced to sometimes. Because I don't know if you have this saying in pumpkin carving and wood carving. I've heard a few carvers say the carving is never finished, just abandoned.
Abandoned,
yeah. And so I definitely feel that way about it. And so I do appreciate these events because I'm like, okay, 5 hours, whatever is at the end of 5 hours, that's the carving.
Right.
But I do, of course, love having like time for endless details, and I get really stressed out by time challenges. And if any of you saw, or anyone who's watching saw my work on Outrageous Pumpkins, I definitely tend to freak out and run around a little bit when I have to.
You were off the set as much as you were on the set.
Well, I had to.
Gotta make it happen.
I was in it to win.
Exactly. Do whatever it takes.
So I get freaked out, but I do appreciate when you're like, this is the thing, and it's kind of fun. It gets my adrenaline going as much as it does. I get more stressed out about like even today, I'm like, oh, it's a quick carve. It's an hour and a half. We all started talking, so we'll be distracted. And I started thinking about it like a little bit nervously. But I also do like having the opportunity to practice, trying to get better at speed, because even if you have a 4-day event and you have to finish something in 4 days, which is not like, that's enough time to get a big piece done.
Yeah.
What you can get done in that 4 days, if you're used to doing these little quick speed challenges, you can get a lot more done in the long carves too, and ultimately that all helps you and your overall points or whatever, however you're like judging yourself.
Yeah, well, join us anytime. We'll keep you out of your comfort zone all as much as we can, Griffon.
Well, I didn't say I wanted that. So that whole I've got this friend, and this is my friend JT. He's a musician. He, the thing what people always say that they love a challenge. He's like, I hate a challenge. Nobody really likes a challenge. Everyone always says they don't really want a challenge.
No, it's like saying I love anxiety. It feels great.
Yeah. I love feeling super uncomfortable all the time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I have come to find that leading up, the lead up, the anticipation, I don't like, but I do like once I'm into it. I do like the competition of it.
Yeah.
It's that adrenaline rush while you're doing it. You have to stay calm. Oh, I just went through. And oh, that's it. Show's over, folks. Good night.
You went through? Paul, you went through?
I had a rock spot. That's all right. I'm gonna go with it. See, this is a deal with it. I'm gonna teach you guys a lesson. I'm gonna adapt. Mickey, can you throw me a sugar pumpkin, please?
Yes. Yeah. Let me.
I got one here behind me. I give you, Paul. It's just going to be a hell of a throw from Tucson to Boston.
Yeah. Further for me,
fella.
Yeah,
a rot spot. That's all right. It's gonna play well in the overall carve.
it's a vampire. He's already rotten. I mean,
that's funny. Talk about timing.
You get away with a lot more on a zombie. Different kind of undead.
yeah, a zombie. Exactly. See, he's undead. You can put a hole in his head. Who cares?
Yeah, but vampires are like majestic and like sexy, and especially when they got rot spots. You know what I mean?
They're like Lost Boys. Those kind of.
Yeah.
You got Kiefer Sutherland and the
Frog Brothers. Damn it.
Have you guys seen? Speaking of vampires, my kid's favorite show on earth is What They Do in the Shadows.
Oh, I love that. It's so good.
It is so awesome. So not only the movie, but the show is just out of this world. You will love it. It takes a show to get into it, but once you do, you're like, oh my god, and you don't miss a single episode after that.
Where is it on?
I don't know. Keep me honest, Griffon. Where's it on? It's like on Netflix, I'm sure. Netflix, Hulu, something like that.
I don't know. I find a lot of things on Amazon Prime, but it's like if you find that if you have to pay for it there, check the other places to see if you can get it free.
Oh, always. Yeah. You can always find it free somewhere. It might be with ads, but free's free.
Free's free.
I've had to stop watching Netflix because my Xbox has some kind of issue that I accidentally spilled a bunch of hot wax into it.
That happens a lot.
I don't know.
Me too. I did the same thing.
I don't even know how to explain how it happened, but with all this hot wax with my Xbox. So now, for whatever reason, Netflix makes it sound like a jet is taking off in the room, but Amazon is relatively quiet, and so I'm that now.
All right, so we got some, Mickey, you have some teeth growing over there? Because I know I'm kind of just leading with the 2 vampire teeth. I don't know about you.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I am too. So I don't know if you can.
Isn't it beautiful? You can do any face on earth with 2 vampire teeth, and it's a vampire.
Yeah, totally. Just pushing it all back and layering it all out.
Let it all hang out.
That's right.
Oh, shit.
I can't determine to do an open mouth or more of a closed mouth. What do you think, Paul? Like, if he's scared, he's like open, a little bit more open, right?
It can be all in the eyes. You got a good mouth going. I wouldn't change the mouth. I would definitely open those eyes up. That'll sell it.
Because the big lids, I got to open all.
Actually, it would be the lack thereof lids, right? Because when your eyes are wide open, they're really plugging out. Yeah, unless he's going to be looking down where his eye would bury into that bottom lid, or if his eyes was crunched up like he was staring at something that scared him.
No, you're right. I gotta take that whole orbital and open it up.
Open up your orbital, man. Relax.
Do some surgery here. Let's get you open, Bell.
Get your orbital open.
Much better.
It's gonna be straight butter, Maddie. Straight butter.
I tell you, it's always about opening the orbital. They say.
If it's one thing my grandpappy taught me.
Get that orbital bone open.
Griffin, how's yours coming around?
I was actually enjoying the moment where I wasn't talking, just so I could focus.
Okay.
All right. We'll
Mine's getting a little schizophrenic. It looks like he's scared and sneezing at the same time.
But the beauty of this is it's all our own interpretations of it. So
that's the best part.
Cannot be wrong. It's exactly right. This is the beauty of it.
Well, half of art is the story anyway, right? So if we can bullshit our way out of the talent part.
That's right. And hey, I tell you anymore, if you're going to be on a TV, it's the other half is personality. So you come with plenty of that and some artistic talent, you're good. Doing a little story, it's even better.
Have a great backstory, even better.
Which is up for YouTube.
Yeah, so I've caught. Is that your actual show that I saw on YouTube where you traveled to Germany and you were in a van?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Thanks. Yeah,
I think the one I caught was where you had the trouble in Germany with the troll.
Oh yeah. But that was a fun trip because I did like a few different events back to back, and I lived in my friend's van. And she has a Sprinter van. She's another carver in Germany, Grace Kaufman. And so she bought this awesome van, and then I helped her kind of like put a bed in it and painted the inside and put fairy lights up everywhere and got ourselves like a pink flamingo neon sign, and it was super fun. And we just like went to carving event and carved and lived in this van. Very bohemian.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was like one of those moments where I like, because there's plenty of times where you're like trying to give a quote or things aren't working out, or like this year where like events end and you got to figure out how to try to make money at this.
Right.
But you're like, oh, this is like what all that sacrifice is for.
The good times.
Yeah, just like, and not even necessarily when you're making money or even succeeding at like carving your troll in front of everybody, but just like being some fun place, doing some crazy thing that not a lot of people get to do.
Right, with good people too. That you got to be able to share the experience.
So I used the wrong end of this because this side of the pumpkin is super thick now.
Oh, good. Okay.
Well, that doesn't help.
Well, at least you got a nice, a nice new start. And the beauty of this thing is it doesn't have any. There's no time. Well, there is. You're gonna be a little bit behind the curve when we turn ours around, but then again, you have tomorrow and the next day if you want to. So it's the beauty of it.
Well, yeah, let's gonna get it done tonight.
There you go. That's the attitude I like.
There we go. Muscle it out.
Well, it is. What time is it there? It's only an hour. It's 7 o'clock. Almost 7 o'clock there.
Oh wow, have we really almost done the whole show already?
See that? We told you. It's gonna fly by.
Like that. Crazy.
Mine is a mess. Let me focus.
Okay. Well, let's talk to Mickey for a second.
All right.
Get the update on the mixer.
What do you want to know? Want to talk some sports? I know Griffin's in the sports, so let's do that.
Yeah, love it. This Texas sports team.
All right, let's talk about Round Rock Express, which I was at last year. Saw Jordan Alvarez, the American League Rookie of the Year. Are you impressed?
Me? Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. That's fascinating. So
that's great. I saw Framber Valdez pitch. He pitched in the World Series, and actually the Astros actually just advanced to the AL Championship Series. Are you more impressed?
I'm more impressed that you realize baseball's still going on right now.
I thought they canceled the season.
This isn't a season, but
the Red Sox checked out, so I was checked out.
Yeah.
All right.
What
Boy,
else are you
I
want to
got-
know, Matt?
What's that?
Speaking of baseball, I got a curveball of a squash here. It's got all kinds of soft spots underneath the skin.
Oh, I'll
Oh,
tell you what. I went to a farm recently and I bought what I thought was going to be the king of all bastards. And today it's been sitting in like quasi air conditioned room, so it's not like hot or anything. Today, if you can see it behind me, and it's kind of hard to. This son of a gun right here, that had the beautiful green stem. It was nice and green when I first got it. It's
Mhm.
kind of my camera's a little small, but I picked it up today and I turned it around and it's already starting to kind of do this type of stuff. It's
The dent.
It's rotting, like holes in it. I don't know. Anyway, so what I thought was going to be my thickest one is going to be javelina food here tomorrow. So
Oh, bummer, dude.
I know.
Bummer,
But-
bro.
The best part of too, and the place I get all of my pumpkins, I just looked, is setting up shop, and they should be open this week, and they have amazing stuff. So I'm okay with having one of them take a little bit of a nap. I mean, like that's happening to you right now, Paul. So I'm
It's not going to happen to me, brother. All right. I've been in this situation before.
I'm
I'm not going to let you
sympathetic.
see me sweat. I'm going to make it happen. And then I'm going to go in the corner and cry when nobody's looking. But you will never, ever see me sweat.
God, I'm starting to like my eye sockets, but then it's already bouncy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to make his. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But it's like I thought it was a lot thicker than I gave myself credit for here.
Whoa. This just in, Griffin has gone to a butternut squash.
I'm just not. It's not happening on that side.
Whoa.
Hey,
Went to the bullpen.
5 minutes. Let me just change.
we got time. We got plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
Tonight's show has been extended by 4 hours.
Thanks to one crappy, half rotten pumpkin.
Damn it. I know we got some this is what we're talking about. This is why we do the show. So you can see all these things. I know a lot of people get discouraged when they run into problems, but you gotta just keep carving. Plus,
Yeah.
if you got enough pumpkin puree or whatever, the shreds, the stuff, whatever you're carving, the leftovers, if it's fine enough, you can plug all the holes. If you go through, I could plug that hole right now. You'd never know with the schmutz, as I call it, the applesauce. But
Yeah.
I kind of like the way it looks where it was rotted.
And the nice part is you get that one final picture,
Yep.
then it's
And
that's over.
And if you really have to, run it through Photoshop. You can
No,
really-
Griffin brought up a good point. When in doubt, Instagram. What do they call those? The filters.
filters.
Instagram filter. Yeah.
Yeah, filters are great for lighting, especially if you want to bring out some of that.
Shadows.
Yeah, the mid-tones.
Oh, those do help, especially if it's super washed out and you hit some of those like refine or define things. You can make it nice and.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Actually, I've been discovering that when in doubt, when it comes to my photography skills, go on the darker side because it's easier to lighten the photo later than it is to try to add photo
Right.
back.
Totally.
Way better to lighten it than it is to darken it because it's already washed out. It can't grab the detail.
Hey, Mickey, we got a good question here.
Yep. So Tara says, first time watcher here from the same town as Paul. What do you use on the pumpkins after you carve them to preserve them?
Filter and Instagram. Yeah, you really can't. You can spray them, keep them cool, keep them in a fridge. You'll get maybe a week out of them, depending on how humid it is out. But it's a perishable item, and it wants to rot the moment you break the skin. So my suggestion would be keep it cool, keep it moist, wrap it with paper towels and maybe some saran wrap. Keep it out of the light and display it during the day or when around Halloween when you're gonna, and kind of take it in at night so the animals don't get it. But take some pictures because it's not gonna get any better than it is the moment after you're done.
Yep.
Totally true.
Do you
Yeah.
guys use any because I've seen some preserved in like water and distilled vinegar. But
Well, if you look at my background, let me get them out of the way. I got a couple there, so I'll keep a couple. throughout the season, and they'll stay pretty good.
How long do they last for in the jars?
As long as they're submerged in vinegar, they'll last forever. Like this guy here, I really like because he's got the frog in his mouth, but he washed out. A lot of times with the butternut squashes, we're finding like I don't know if you can see, you can actually see it. See how it's orange on the bottom and white on top? That's not light. That's literally how it looks. It just faded out.
Weird.
So if I get some really good lighting, I have this terrible little light on top of it right now, but if I get a good light on these guys, I'm gonna hold on to that one. I like it. I'll probably get rid of the other two at the end of carving season. But
Paul, that's one of my favorite ones you've ever done. Like when I saw you come up with that, I think you carved that with Ray, right?
No, I did a ghoul when Ray was on.
No, who'd you carve that with? Mark then?
Yeah, that was with Mark.
Okay.
Mark and Chris.
I was totally blown away by that one. I'm like, oh crap, what am I doing? I'm like looking at mine, going, what? I guess I got to start over.
Yeah, but buddy, I do that on yours too. Sometimes you get on a roll, and sometimes that's the beauty of it. That's how we push each other, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm in love with yours, you're in love with mine. We're gonna be in love with Mickey's all of a sudden. He's got this little fancy squirt bottle.
Working on it.
Copper-like in here.
Griffin has a cornucopia going.
It's all love.
Is this the same Mark that does the jack-o'-lanterns you guys were talking about yesterday?
Yes, the Maniac Pumpkin Carvers. Yeah, they're just phenomenal. Great guys too. Like so easy to hang out and talk to. So willing to share information. They're just like world-class artists and just really good people. Question for Raul. What is your go-to tool every single time? Which one takes on the bulk of the work? Well, that's two separate questions because your favorite tool is never the one that you do the bulk of the work with. Your favorite tool is usually a detail tool. Yeah. And I would say, let me hook myself up here. So
what's your favorite tool, Paul? Mine is this Kemper PT 440.
You like the 440? I like the PT 512. So the 512 is a bit smaller, and I put teeth on it. That's my detail. That's my favorite. But the one that does the bulk of the work is the cheap one that you get at any craft store in the United States that you put epoxy around the handle and you go to town roughing it out. So yeah, I guess they're both kind of my favorite in a way, but they're both very similar in shape.
Yeah. And I'm just this last couple of years I started raking them the way you do. And it's either you can buy some of them that are raked, meaning it has like cuts or serrations on one side and then the other side's flat. And then when you carve in it, it's like a comb almost, like it doesn't take away as much material. Those are awesome. And I've gone to raking almost all of my tools on one side because you never know when you're going to need it.
Yeah, and I like leaving the flat side. I know some guys rake both sides of the tool.
I leave one side flat every time.
Because you get too many rake marks. There's too many tools. You actually have to flip it over and smooth it out.
Right.
You'll get too many smooth marks. But I mean, hey, why don't we give them a plug? If you're looking for some good tools, Mr. Danny Kissel sells some pretty nice tools. If you're looking for some favorites.
Yeah.
Give Danny a little plug there,
I just bought some Danny tools.
Yeah, Danny Kissel, and their quality. That's the thing. You pay a little more, I think, than you would at like Kempers are kind of the standard. Like they're amazing.
Kempers have a wooden handle.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they're great, but they have a life. There's a life to them.
Right. Well, and they're made for clay. Most of the time. I mean,
yes.
For pump tools, you really. The medium fights back where clay it doesn't, right? So this is, and they break a lot easier because of that. So Danny's got some techniques that he keeps them really they're stronger. Put it that way.
They're gonna last you years. Where Kemper is, in my opinion, like the nicest blade, but I go into it knowing that every year I want to buy new fresh tools because we're working with a wet medium. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't clean my tools as much as I should. There's no time. Like the next day, you're diving back into one. So they do take a beating, and the wood isn't sealed. So, moisture in wood doesn't make for long-lasting tools. But I get at least a season out of most of my Kemper tools. Now the dark-handled ones last forever.
Yeah,
but the lighter ones, the PTs, those are really. seasonal tools, but you want that nice fresh tool to start the season with anyway. I do anyway.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Oh boy.
Although I have a couple favorites that I swear to God, I didn't actually cry, but I cried when they broke.
Yeah, I had a favorite that I buried in the backyard and said some words to.
Yeah. I still, have a little seance every now and then.
I planted a new tree over him, so someday, Danny, we got you in there, Danny.
So new tool.
We're like an infomercial for Kissel Tools.
Yeah. But if you call now, oh, this is beautiful. Look at take a look at your screen, all you peeps. We only have 25 minutes left, but you got to look at this ice.
Wow.
Where was that, Griffon?
Oh, that was Aaron Kostick, Elegant Ice Creations. They have a ice carving boot camp. Actually, they do a boot camp, which they usually do 2 a year, fall and spring, and they will have multiple workshops happening simultaneously at this really awesome campground in West Virginia. And so they'll do ice, wood, and pumpkin in the fall, or like fruit and veggie.
Okay.
For culinary, they'll do them all simultaneously and get some like star carvers to come teach like the sculpts for ice. Or
That's so cool.
they had some like pretty well-known Japanese vegetable carver coming for one of the vegetable fruit carving things. So Aaron Kostick, Elegant Ice Creations boot camp.
Well, well done.
Speaking of infomercial, here we go. Right.
Right on. Sharpening
so cool.
tools. I think we just talked about throwing them away. I know some people do sharpen their tools. Matt, do you sharpen yours? I don't.
The only thing I sharpen are knives. That or every now and then I'll take when it's a bigger tool, like one of the bigger Kemper things. I'll sharpen one of the edges if it's starting to go. And that's just like with a hand thing. It's like it's pretty lame. Put it that way. I don't really do it very well.
Yeah, I don't even. I think who said they sharpen their tools? I think Dean said he sharpened his tools. Dean Murray, with using a Dremel. I think that's what he said.
Oh, that's right. We're using a Dremel. And I guess that'd probably be the easiest way to do it. Just kind of zip it on there. But zippity doo dah. Did you finish your beer there, Paul?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, this
Sorry
wait,
to hear that.
you guys. Here's my feedback for your show here. Now I have time to carve, talk, and drink beer at the same time.
I know. See, we got to make it a 10-hour show. That's what we got to do.
Don't pretend like you don't know how to juggle. I saw you do it on the show.
Yeah, like a 3-second clip before I dropped the balls and slipped in pumpkin puree, fell on my ass. Which I'm amazed to use that clip.
That would have been great.
Hey, you look like a pro. That was really funny.
I was impressed. I'm like, holy shit, you're juggling.
This is really cool to pick the elk.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do that.
Thanks.
So now that looks like it's already. I know when they start to melt just a little bit, they get really glassy and pretty like that.
Yeah.
Is that what's happened there?
Yeah, so that was after the class. So we did like multiple carvings and have like a few I think it was like 2 or 3 days. We stayed at this camp. We had campfires, and Aaron Kostick, the organizer, he likes to do these random like relay race challenges that have nothing to do. Like we had to build like a bridge out of paper and straws at one point. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with carving. So it was a competition, and to win the golden ice pick, my team won.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Anyway, so what was the point of that? Oh yeah, so to answer your question, yes, ice when it melts, it gets like polished. And actually, if you want to polish ice, use a blowtorch.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
You got to be real careful with that, though, right? I'm sure you're just kind of washing over it real quick.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hold it on there forever, but yeah, you just kind of glaze over it. But if you're working in a freezer, it can freeze immediately and then leave like drip.
Oh, then, yeah.
When you're polishing, you have to kind of wipe it off at the same time, so burn and wipe.
Paul, you've never done ice, have you?
No. Well, no, I've done a lot of snow. I've done big snow sculptures, but not at events, mostly for my kids and their friends. Got it. One of them was 9 feet tall, so that was pretty good.
All right. That's something. That's substantial.
It's something.
Griffon, you just had somebody say that their favorite is your octopus. So we concur. That's one of my favorites for sure.
Oh, thanks. I'm excited about this next stump job that's coming up as a Viking sculpture.
Are you going to live stream from that?
I'm not sure that I'll even have the ability to because it's out on this property. It's an animal sanctuary. It's like 600 acres, and they
Oh, wow.
breed some of the more exotic herd animals, like water buffalo, and they've got some other like rare like red stags, and random like from all around the world. They breed them out there.
Oh, wow.
And the place is called Valkyrie, which is like from
Perfect.
mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do weddings. They have a thing called Viking Fest out there, and they make mead. And so it's all very. And I discovered recently through Ancestry that I'm like 40% Norwegian.
Oh, you're already
I
right.
don't see it. I don't see that at all when I.
No.
I think Italian when I see you.
You know,
I
it's
know.
kind of funny. Whoever raises you or what part of the family is ever the most involved in the kid's life is who tells them the story of who they are.
Yeah.
But really look at when you make a family tree, there's like so many things you just don't know about or never would hear about ever, you know? And so it's interesting because I was always told I was German and Irish. Like, you're German.
Yeah, I could see that.
But,
See, I did 23andMe, so all the surprise got taken out for me.
well, that's a good one, but honestly, in my opinion, Ancestry is better because they have. I was reading that they have actually more people participating, and the more people that are participating, the more like data they have to compare it to, and it's supposed to be more accurate.
Right.
And for my purposes, it's for genealogy, so I like that it attaches to the family tree I've been building on their website and to current living and the cousins and stuff. But the cool thing about the 23andMe one, if you're into health, it's more about health. But they pre-existing conditions, right? Like what you're more apt to come down with. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it also tells you what percentage of Neanderthal you are. So, which Ancestry does not do that. So it's mostly a 23andMe thing. So if you're curious about your Neanderthal variants.
And how related to Genghis Khan you are, right? That's the other one.
Wait, what?
Remember, I heard this somebody. Genghis Khan was a very prolific person.
Oh, right.
He got around.
And there's a lot of people that find out. Oh wait, you're 1/15th Mongolian. You're like, what? Yeah, somewhere along the lines, Genghis got in the way. You know.
You got something.
Honestly, that's what I would want to be known for.
Prolific.
Yeah, I just want to just
Go
conquer.
populate the world and conquer everything. I like it. Yeah.
Yes, it's one of the ways that matters, like a legacy.
If you're showing up on Ancestry.com hundreds of years later, then you're probably you set
right.
your mark.
You're a rock star, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, now I don't know if you guys want to get into this conversation, but
Oh, here we go.
I like where this is going already.
not a lot of people want kids now, right? And so that's been an interesting thing because I do want more. I'm going to throw that out there, like I do in every first date. And like on Bumble, it'll tell you like who wants kids and what they vote and if they smoke and drink and all that stuff. But on Bumble, the only people who seem to want kids are like very religious people, and everyone else is like, nah. So it's kind of funny that it's been kind of divided. Like it's not just assumed that you're going to have babies now. It's like it's I don't know. It's becoming more of a lifestyle choice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the world's kind of a crazy place right now, right? Might be better to just kind of wait it out for quieter times.
Maybe, but it was already like that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it seems like, the people aren't necessarily trying to have a lot of kids these days,
No, I got my 2. I'm perfect. I just got to teach them how to carve pumpkins.
I'm one and done.
One and done. Matt, you have like 12, right?
I have 3 that I know of, and many more. God, somewhere, I'm sure.
Well, the DNA, that's the problem with this DNA test. It's like
It's gonna find me. Someday I'll find out I have 15.
They'll find you.
They're gonna come knocking on my door and want some of this pumpkin money,
Yeah, right. That pumpkin cheddar.
Oh yeah.
Wow, you made quick work of that butternut squash, Griffin. Holy moly.
It's not, I wouldn't say this is quick.
Blocking.
What music would you all listen to right now if it wasn't for the podcast? I'm a old soul guy, so I would listen to probably I'd listen to some James Brown, or I would listen to the Teskey brothers out of Australia right now, who are like a kickback to Otis Redding, but a bunch of Australian dudes doing it, and they're pretty amazing.
You know what? I knew that answer, so I'm not interested, but I'm really interested in what Griffin listens to.
Oh, today I was listening to a lot of Nico Case.
Oh, Nico Case. Okay.
So I can sing along to her. So that's what it was. I was playing today, and this a podcast. But other than the podcast, it was Nico.
Wow. I didn't mean to be rude, Paul. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. You were. That's fine. Mission accomplished. Oh, Matt, how I love you.
Damn me.
How I love your barbs. Oh man, this rotten little bastard of a pumpkin squash.
So, well, I'll ask you guys this question. So when you listen to music and you're carving or making something, does that help? And my dog's going nuts, of course. Does that help you guys, or does it dictate how you carve? So the example I'll use is if I listen to just like Ride the Lightning from Metallica, for some reason I'll make a pretty evil looking guy, or he'll be more severe looking, or mostly guys, like gal or guy. But does that dictate how you guys carve too, or create? Does that make a difference to you, or is it just background music?
Griffin, you go first.
Well, can I tell you this? I'm taking this on a tangent, so maybe I should be a follow-up. But the one thing I've been enjoying about pumpkin carving is that I don't have to wear all the gear out of my shop, like covered up with everything over my head. I've been sitting on my ass and watching TV. Like, deep. And then I watched, it gets to, if I need to focus on the carving, then I'll switch to something like that I've seen before, or something that I don't feel too invested in, because I can't take my eyeballs off the project. But I've been enjoying actually binge watching television because I can be indoors.
Oh, that's true.
Probably not the answer.
Didn't even think of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, because normally, I listen to music or something at my shop when I'm, carving wood, but I can't really I like audiobooks too sometimes, because I find that if I get distracted by a book, I can go for more hours without getting annoyed or bored.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you get kind of lost in it while you're, and your brain does the carving while you're, listening to the book. That's cool.
Well, yeah. You find that you crave whatever you were listening to last. When you get back to the project, it's like you crave that same vibe.
Yeah, that's the jumping off point, right? I agree with that.
How about you, Paul? What do you listen to?
I just told you, I'm not telling you again.
Not what you listen to, but does it affect your car? That's the part.
You never listen to me.
You never listen. I sometimes I've sat down here in the complete silence and actually just kind of sung to myself. I get so lost in when I'm carving that if music's there, I enjoy it. If it's not, it's playing in my head anyway.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whether it's out loud or not. I enjoy the scraping sound, to be honest with you.
Triggers your ASMR.
Yes. I like to whisper to myself. I have a buddy that is like obsessed with that. And that's all he's like, you have to do some videos where you don't talk. Where you just I'm like,
before I started pumpkin carving, I did some pumpkin carving ASMR video, because I experimented with ASMR for a while there. I should have sent you guys a link to that, but I always forget about it.
Wait. What does that mean, experimenting with it? Does that mean just like shutting up and listening and falling into the carving noise and the?
No, I have a binaural mic, and so I just carved some pumpkins and tried to whisper if I talked to the camera about it, and just carved and made scraping sounds.
Huh.
Kind of like what you just made a joke about.
Listen, I'm telling you, I know it's a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could shut up for that long.
It's hard, and hard to even make movements that are calm, like I found it kind of challenging.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've fallen asleep to it before. It's definitely relaxing.
I like the sound of people drawing or like Sharpies on paper. That's a good trick to do too. Or turning pages and reading.
Oh, that's true. I kind of like that. then the visual ASMR, like the smashing of like those things that you get from the florist, you know, those sponges or whatever they are. You ever seen that?
Oh yeah, the dry for the arrangements, the fake flower ones.
Yeah,
Oh,
or
no,
they'll cut a piece of soap, you know, or something like that. Something where it's like visually ASMR-y satisfying is kind of fun too.
yeah, I've seen some of those. I'm gonna get you guys scared.
Yeah, the scared thing is hard. I guess.
Yeah, it's all about the brow. And that brow, really, you gotta get that just right.
So one thing that I've been doing, because I used to when I was a teenager, I would just like put on my Walkman. That's how I'm dating myself right there, and I would just draw. So I think it was more about rhythm and just having something in the background that was kind of like pushing out anything that was going to distract me. But something that I have really found recently that's really helping me concentrate is like white noise. Like just like almost like static.
Yes.
And it's definitely helped me stay focused. Whenever I hear music now, like I was just listening to a whole bunch of Van Halen, obviously because Eddie Van Halen just died.
Yeah.
So it takes my mind other places now because I start thinking about stuff. I go, oh wow, I remember when I was here, and I start taking myself out of it.
Yeah.
So for me, like white noise now is easily my creative outlet, also my work outlet. So if I really want to super concentrate, I'll just put it on and just power through stuff. So
that's really interesting. Mickey, do you find yourself, if you just are not in that kind of have to concentrate but just create something, do you find what you listen to dictating how your final piece looks at all? Like
not so much anymore, but it does. You were right when it takes you to certain places. And what I remember is, and I heard this a long time ago. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but supposedly males that's why they like having music on, and when they study and stuff like that. A lot of people think like, oh, you shouldn't play all that stuff. I actually remember spots. I go, oh, when I was learning this, I was listening to this song. It's my brain works like that. But I think it was in males. I'm not sure why it was just males, but I might be wrong on that. But I thought it was interesting because I'm like, I totally do that. Like I'll go back in a thing and I'm like, oh, I was listening to this, podcast during this section of my work I was doing. So my brain works like that. But I'm going to try that. I actually want to try that with painting. Just like start listening to stuff that I super like and see where I go with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or put on some stuff you hate and see where that goes.
Well, that's very interesting you say that, because I was thinking the same thing. It's like that would be a great experiment.
Well, like, even if like say you put the metal on and it influences how you carve, the choice to put the metal on, maybe you were going to be carving like that anyway on that.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
It totally is. It's whatever mood you're in. Like if I sit down and listen to Pantera, it ain't going to be a kitty cat.
It's going to be a very angry one.
But what if you listen to Poison?
Then you just get mad.
No way, man. Gotta love all 80s music.
What if you listen to Bang Tango?
Oh, Jesus. Taking
Cosmic Goo Goo. How about that?
What if you listen to Enough's Enough? No, I'm not going to stop.
Wow. Who can spell it?
It's got a Z in it.
Yeah. That was Howard Stern's, one of his first favorite bands. And I just knew he had no musical taste whatsoever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, zero. Good old Mountain.
Yes, exactly.
Boy, these shapes are taking a long time to rough out, huh?
What do we get ourselves into, Griffin? I mean,
I know. And you're like,
not us, it's that damn wheel.
It's the wheel. I'm mad at the wheel, not us. But what the hell, wheel?
It's on you, alien.
I know.
That's what we did last week.
Let's do a quick respin. Let's see what happens.
There we go.
At the hour and a half point. Start over.
That's kind of what I did with the squash. Fine with me.
I know, it was a brave move.
Yeah, and those things are, are awesome. Paul and I both just fell in love with butternuts, so can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, that's all we carved for a long time.
I want to try shipping it to my friend. She asked if I could send it to her when I was done.
Sure.
How do you have to ship one?
Yeah, you put that in a bag of like maybe a little bit, like maybe a couple of tablespoons of vinegar and some water just to kind of let it wash around. It'll probably be fine.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
And just suck the oxygen out of it as much as you can. So it's just only the bag and a layer of water around it. Wrap it in like some plastic, and you'll be golden.
Okay, cool.
How far of a ship is it?
It's in New York.
Whoa!
That'd be all right.
Yeah,
You got
Or
it.
not.
or not.
Or if it isn't, then it isn't.
This time of year, it will be all right.
Yeah.
But it is coming from a very hot climate. Nah, it'll be fine. They tend to last, the squashes.
Take one of those ice packs and throw it in there just in case.
Yeah, like could do some dry ice or something, right? Like they'd ship a.
Grab those gel packs. You know the freezer packs that are gel. Those work great.
Mickey, don't tell me.
Come on.
We are at 125. Can you believe it? I told you that this would go fast. Was I correct?
You were, sir.
Now, yeah.
Get
Well,
back.
Griffon, just so you know, you don't have to jump right off when we don't go when we get off of the live stream.
Oh yeah, no problem. So are you guys hanging out after? Is there an after party?
Always
Yeah,
do.
that's when the
None of you are
real
invited.
carving starts. So
Hey,
the
Mick.
Yo,
Mick, since we only have a few minutes left, I don't know if you've shown everything she has from some of the pictures you've done, but I'd love to see kind of like a little retrospective if we
Sure.
get a last couple of minutes, because I'm just super impressed with your carving, Griffon, especially that octopus. I'm like just blown away by that. Can't wait to see more.
Thanks. Thank you.
so I'll go through this.
That looks like a little bit of a mess inside.
That's so that was a live show I did in Austin, downtown for this startup, and carved them a dumpster fire because that was sort of their unofficial mascot. The company, their job was essentially to try to neutralize fraud on the internet that was trying to sway votes and things like that. You know,
Oh, cool.
it was cool because I never carved in that was a high-rise building. Like they let me make a huge mess.
They had to kill the fire alarms for that one.
Well, we were worried about it, and I took the torch out for 2 seconds, and we decided it was probably not a good idea. But even the sawdust and the fumes, but it was a battery saw, so it made it possible. But it was definitely touch and go. We were really set off these printers.
Yeah, I'd be worried about that.
So you guys
That's
say,
pretty cool.
can I see what you guys have done so far on your pumpkins?
Yeah.
No, hell no.
Since we're about
Well,
to complete here.
this is how far I am. So I got kind of his.
Look how smooth, man.
I got his little teethies in here to make him look like a vampire. He's a little bit scared, right?
I
Scared.
don't look scared.
And he's gonna have. I'm gonna define this brows a lot more up here, and then kind of work on his chin. I save that for last, but I'll get him kind of really opened up here, and yeah. But the only sad part is I don't have. The eyes are going to be really tricky, so I don't know what I'm going to do there because I don't have a whole lot of
potatoes.
Oh, not a lot of.
Get the potatoes out.
I dug in pretty good here, so I don't know if this thing's got. Just look right here. Ready? See that little flex?
Oh wow! Hey yo.
You get something stringy down there too, which makes it even harder to salvage.
Yeah, and it's already getting stringy. So this will be a challenge, which is French for challenge.
Wow. Very nice.
Oui. All right, Paul.
Well, as usual, I have a lot more to go. I'm still roughing in the shapes.
That thing's
It's kind of a hot
thick.
mess.
That's thick as hell.
Well, this is all rotten right here, I found, and then that's all rotten in there. It's all right. Part of
It's
the
got a
process.
bad tooth.
What did you call that vegetable again? Can you remind me the name of it?
It's called a curry squash, but apparently that just means it's a small red Hubbard.
Okay, Red Hubbard.
A red Hubbard, yeah, and they're great. Like, I don't know if you really can't tell on the camera, but it feels like a really hard clay. It's almost slimy. It's nice. It just sort of melts away as you carve. But they're pretty firm, so it does take a while to get the form out of it. So I'm gonna make sure I finish it, but I got some time, a lot of time.
Mickey, let's take a look at your masterpiece there.
So I'm getting I'm taking Paul's advice and not being afraid to go deep. So trying to get
good.
Big bulbous
teeth
eye.
in, get those. I still have some bottom teeth, but not have to work on the nose. But yeah, getting those eyes and everything, and just getting that expression of like you can't really see it. You kind of see it here, but
he's definitely looking scared.
yeah. I have to. It's funny because the eyes I'm thinking are like very Simpson-esque. So I'm trying to like. Oh, is that okay?
Yeah, that's you make it a style. It doesn't, we don't have to all adhere to the same semi-cartoony thing.
And don't forget that. Cartoon. Yeah, and that round shape can become lids very easily. On top and bottom lids and everything else. So.
You just segment it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Griffin. Let's see yours.
Let's see all three.
This is Griffin. This is her part 2.
Oh
my God!
Yeah. So you see, I was starting to make. Because of the fatness in here, I was going to make these into like a collar.
His cowl. That's awesome.
Yeah, his little like collar. So this will be cut in, like probably up to here at the shoulders, and then I was eyes, and I want to leave the widow's peak.
The widow's peak.
Oh, that's what I didn't do. Damn it!
I got one going.
All right, I got to do widow's peak.
So you can roughed out a little bit.
Oh, you actually got further than I did on your second attempt.
It does help having them be a lot thicker because I've pretty much dug all the way to the center inside of his mouth, and I'm still have material.
Isn't that awesome?
Those things are awesome.
You get spoiled. You get so spoiled using them.
That's a good point because I've been practicing on these butternut squash, and I wonder if it's giving me a false sense of security.
Oh yeah, I got the same thing going on. That's why I was so surprised. I'm like, oh my God, I just busted through. I haven't busted through in months.
There's a medicine for that.
That's a good point. Bing bong.
All right, so that is the show that we had for you this week. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Griffin, for joining us. I have your Instagram here, but is there anywhere else that we can find you?
Yes, I'm on everything like Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, Tumblr. Like I have everything pretty much. I just got a TikTok recently. There's not a lot happening there. But website is probably a good place to find things consolidated, especially my body of work. So griffonramsey.com, or you can find me on anything under the name Griffon Ramsey.
Love it.
Fantastic. Nice. Paul, anything to plug?
Yeah, go follow Griffon and follow this show.
Yes. Matt.
I'm going to go ahead and echo Paul's sentiments. Please follow Griffon. She's amazing. And give us a subscribe. I mean, take the 5 seconds it takes to push the subscribe button on Carvers and Creators if you haven't already, and go follow Griffon, please.
Thanks. I'm desperate for attention. So yes.
Hey, we are too.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us, and it was great. Paul and Matt, every week it's getting better and better, and I look forward to doing it next week. We will be here Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we will see anything we're going to be plugging for next week, or
we got some fun coming next week. So that's all we need to say.
Perfect. And then,
do we have some time for another beer after this? Privately.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. All right. So thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. And please like and follow all the stuff you see on the screen. So we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You guys.